Hi, I'm Iridara, and welcome back to The Borderline Farmer. Today we're going to talk about one, if not the most important game of my childhood, Harvest Moon DS. I am going to talk about my first experience playing the game and what I wish I knew before playing it. So, yeah, here goes the story. I still remember the day I bought this game. I was in a superstore in France with my uncle. And of course, I went to the video game aisle and I found this super cute looking game and I wanted it. So I ran back to my uncle and started begging for it. And in less than 10 minutes, boom, I was returning home with a new game. I remember arriving home and zooming to my room to play this new fantastic game. And first of many disappointments, I can't be a girl. The game only allows me to play as a boy. And at the time, I couldn't understand why. I learned later that Harvest Moon DS only allows you to play as a boy farmer. And if you want to play as a girl farmer, you need to buy Harvest Moon DS. Cute. Only problem is that I live in Europe and DS Cute is simply not available here. So I can't win, really. But it's whatever. I chose a random name for my character and I started the adventure. So the story starts with the harvest goddess and the witch princess having a fight. Then the witch accidentally send the goddess and all her 101 sprites to another universe. Your job is to bring everyone back. Why you're asking, I don't know. They just tell you to do it. Yeah, the story of this Harvest Moon is a bit weak, but that's not important. Anyway, you get teleported back to your farm, and in the same day, you meet Thomas, the mayor of Mineral Town. Now, this Monopoly-looking man starts insulting your farm and says that it looks crap, so you kill him. No, you start attacking him with your tools, and while he dodges the attacks, he keeps on making these references to Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town, which is another Harvest Moon game for Game Boy. But as a kid, I didn't understand anything about this dialogues because this was my first Harvest Moon. So I was just like, what is he talking about? Anyway, your dog start biting his ass, and you have the choice to help the mayor or letting your dog eat him alive. If you don't help him, the game ends immediately. And guess what 10 years old me chose? I was so shocked that the game ended like that. I felt like a fucking idiot. So, of course, I had to restart the game from the beginning. And this time I saved the mayor. After this, Monopoly Man leaves and you can finally start to play. At the time, I didn't know what I had to do, so I just started exploring the map when suddenly I ran into someone, Lumina. I don't know why, but I instantly liked her. So, like every normal person in love, I started talking to her every day, following her to the pond, gifting her random shit, looking at her piano lessons, touching everything in her room, running around her and stopping her in the middle of the street to force her to look at me. But nothing was working. Our relationship was not improving. I was losing hope. Then one day I was reading the Harvest Moon game manual and I finally discovered what she liked: diamonds. Okay, this is a useful new information for me, but where the hell do I find diamonds? I mean, of course, now I know that diamonds are not that rare and quite easy to get from the mine, but at the time, I was just a 10 years old idiot. I had no idea how to find diamonds, so I gave up on Lumina. I decided to leave aside my love life and concentrate on my farm a little bit more. It took a while, but after many, many seasons, I was finally able to afford a chicken coop, a fodder chicken coop. I mean, it was the cheapest, and I didn't have much money at the time, so yeah, If you know anything about Harvest Moon DS, you probably know that the material that you use to build expansions for your farm matters. The most expensive one, the golden lumber, is known for being unbreakable, but it also costs a fortune. The cheapest one, fodder, has a chance to collapse even on a sunny day. So, of course, it happened to me. It was quite traumatizing as a kid. Takakura comes in your house, there's this sad music playing, and you find out that all your animals died tragically. That's how I found out the importance of buying good materials and also saving before going to bed. Oh, yeah, about saving. You need to be super careful of when you save in the game because Harvest Moon DS is also full of bugs and glitches, and to save at the wrong time or in the wrong place can corrupt your file and make it unplayable. I mean, it never happened to me directly, but I know that it's always better to save in places where there isn't too much movement activity on the screen because this could be dangerous for your save file. Anyway, I think I'm going to make another video about bugs and glitches of this game. Moving on, after this chicken coop tragedy, I felt pretty unmotivated to start all over. So after randomly unlocking the mine, I went there a little bit. I remember the serotonin boost I had the first time. I reached the bottom of the first mine. I thought I achieved something great. Little did I know that there is 3 other mines. At the time, I didn't really use stamina drink or grass to refill my energy, which was probably a big mistake because it took double the time to arrive to the bottom of the other mines. I remember that eventually I actually managed to get to the bottom of the second mine. When I arrived there, I completely panicked. I had no idea what to do. So when the game gave me the option to take the legendary sword, I didn't. So I returned to the beginning of the mine, and this was sad. Unfortunately, as a kid, I never managed to save 60 sprites. I didn't save the Harvest Goddess, and most importantly, I didn't manage to marry my precious Lumina. I abandoned the game for a while, thinking it was too complicated for me, but the story is not over. Years later, I decided to start over with a new save file, and this time I wasn't going to mess around. I followed an online guide on how to save the first 60 sprites, so finally I could marry my precious, my beautiful, my fantastic Nami. Yeah. I know what you're probably thinking. Why did I switch to Nami? Why not Lumina? Well, my tastes in girls kind of changed with the years, and I was a bit in an edgy phase of my life, so I used to identify more in Nami at the time. I even wanted to cosplay her at some point. So, yeah, following the guide I'm linking in the description, I managed to reach 60 sprites in no time. Then I managed to marry. This time it went way better than my first save file, and I give all credit to Lily's step-by-step sprite guide and other guides online. I think the game can be quite complicated to understand for a 10 years old, especially when you don't know how to trigger events. And let me tell you, some of them have very frickin' specific conditions. So, what do I wish I knew when I started playing Harvest Moon DS? Definitely wish I knew about the material resistance when you build a chicken coop or a barn, and that the friendship with any NPC drops when an animal in your farm dies, even from old age. I wish I knew how important it is to save in the right moment, to avoid having to reload an old save file in case anything bad happens, or to simply avoid corrupting your file. I wish I knew that repetitive tasks, such as milking the cows with the glove, are actually useful to unlock sprites. As a kid, I never did it because I found it incredibly boring. I wish I knew that throwing anything on the ground in the village map will be considered as littering and will automatically make the friendship with the NPC drop. So make sure you're not doing that. I wish I knew how important it is to use all your tools and upgrade them, even the useless one like the sickle, because that's the only way to unlock some of the sprites. There's many other things I wish I knew, but in general, all I can say is that I wish I knew about the online guide. The game is much easier when you actually know what you're doing and you know how to unlock some of the sprites. But I know what you might think. To know everything about the game could bring away some of the satisfaction of finding out yourself. But let me tell you, if I didn't read online that I had to use the hot spring 100 times for 1 hour each day to unlock the sprite, I probably wouldn't have figured it out myself. Or if I didn't read online that the Christmas sock can be unlocked by befriending Nina up to 200 friendship points and walk in her house with yarn in your hands between the 1st and the 23rd of winter. I probably wouldn't have figured it out myself. So yeah, if your goal is to marry and have a family, or simply to beat the game, I suggest following the guide. It can also be useful to have a note on your PC with a list of every sprite to unlock and then mark them as done when you unlock each one of them. This way you won't lose track of what you are doing even if you don't play the game for a few months. I will leave the list of the sprites so that you can use it if you want. And yeah, that is about everything I had to say for today. Ultimately, I would like to say that I enjoyed this game a lot, and even if it's not technically the best Harvest Moon, it is my favorite. Thank you for watching. If you're interested in living or farming simulators, you can subscribe to be notified about my future videos. Well, this is all for now. Over and out.